Welcome to Zen and the Art of Movies. Let's revisit Avatar. You know, Avatar, for me, I've been writing on, I have a page called Avatar and the Voyage to Pandora that I've been writing on ever since Avatar first burst into my world, my life, you know. And it's a myth or a gift that keeps on giving. And I see Avatar with a wide angle. Star Wars was the myth of the 70s. Star Wars was the American myth. And now Avatar has come. So these are epics. You know, every civilization has its epics, like the Odyssey and the Iliad and Paradise Lost of Milton and Beowulf. And civilizations used to have, or had, epic myths that explained and described and captured the essence of that culture. The essence of the culture was contained in the epic, in its myths, you see. But all those myths, all those print myths, all those stories in past civilizations are all gone now. They're all just fantasy. They're all just fiction. And as Joseph Campbell said, modern man is in free fall. We've erased all of the myths that defined and made us whole. Now we're in free fall. So where are our myths? Where are the stories that define us and make sense of the data storm that we're in now? You know, it's the movies. And the greatest movies are ones that come about and define an era. Now, Star Wars is still alive. People are still acting out and living in Star Wars. The Star Wars is still being acted out by our politics. MAGA and Trump are Luke Skywalker and Han Solo, and they're fighting the evil empire, the liberals. And Darth Vader is Biden or Obama, you see. Star Wars. But Avatar is different. Avatar is awakening of your true self or awareness itself. So Avatar for me is Buddhism. Buddhism is the awakening of your true self and seeing through the contradictions in your life. So let's look at Avatar. How is this a blueprint for awakening? Well, first of all, the hero is Jake Sully. So you have to really identify with Jake Sully. You have to be Jake Sully. You have to let Jake Sully be in your life and you in Jake Sully's life. Jake Sully comes to Pandora and he oscillates between waking and sleeping. When he's awake, he's in the human world, in the rational world, in the world where everything's a thing. Everything's an it, you see. It's a machine. And then while he's awake in that world, he's asleep in Pandora. But then when he goes to sleep in the human world, he wakes up in Pandora. This oscillation between the dream and the sleep, between reality and the not real. And he goes back and forth, and he comes to a point. He doesn't know what the fuck's real. He says, I'm in a no man's land. He's rejected by both sides. He doesn't know if the humans are real, if the sky people, the human world is real, and Pandora's a dream, or if Pandora's real and the human world's real. He doesn't know. He's in a psychosis. He's in a crisis. We all have those moments. We don't even realize the significance of them. But you're driving along the road and maybe you daydream. And suddenly you come back out of the dream and you don't know where you are. Is my destination ahead or is it behind? You don't know. You drive looking for something to stabilize you. Oh, and you see a gas station. I recognize that gas station. I know where I am. Now you either go forward or you turn around, but you're okay. But for a moment, you didn't know what was real. You didn't know who you were or where you were. I remember my first movie, Alone. I was maybe 10. I don't know. I went to the movie Alone, and I just lived not far away. I don't know. Remember if I had to catch a bus or if I had to walk there. I came out of that movie, and I was so deep into the movie, I forgot what it was. I had no idea where I was. I was in a no man's land. I didn't know who I was, where I was, how to get home. I didn't recognize the city. I was in a state of Alzheimer's. I was in a state of no man's land. We all have those moments of no man's land. We have to apply these great movies to our everyday life and use the movie as a map to get through the conflicts and contradictions and no man's land of our everyday life. You're in a fight with your wife or your husband, and suddenly you don't know. You're kind of like maybe you're in a suspended place where you don't know who's right and who's wrong. So we stabilize those situations by saying, I'm right, you're wrong. That's the way we stabilize the no man's land. I'm right, you're wrong. Absolutely. No argument. That stabilizes it. But if we're in a situation where we can't stabilize the no man's land, the oscillation between left and right, up and down, good and bad, you see, and they're kind of like they oscillate back and forth, like waking and dreaming, dreaming and waking, waking and dreaming, waking, back and forth, back and forth. What's real? What's not real? I don't know. And in that moment of I don't know, there is a possibility of awakening. But you have to jump on the last shadow. Now, what is the last shadow that Jake Sully jumped on? It's a metaphor. In the movie, the last shadow was death. It'll be the last shadow you see. The last thing you see will be the last shadow of this dragon coming down. It was a dragon. A dragon just in like the Middle Ages, where the dragon that that guards a cave and the treasure, you see. The knight has to defeat the dragon or tame it. In some he kills the dragon, others he tames the dragon. So in Avatar, Jake Sully jumps on the last shadow, and the energy of the last shadow becomes his energy. The energy of the monster becomes his energy. The energy of the demon becomes his energy, you see. And he rides the last shadow. He awakens. So what is the last shadow? Well, first of all, the last shadow is death. Death is unknowable. So the last shadow is unknowable. So when you're caught between I know and I don't know, yada, 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 is this right or that right? Should I cut this wire or cut that wire? Hurt locker. Should I change this spark plug or should I do this on a machine? We're caught, yada, 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 back and forth. If when we see that we're in a no man's land, when we see there's no escape, when we see that nothing I can do is any good, and not doing anything is no good either, when we see that, we're in this no man's land. And when we're in no man's land, it becomes saturated, and the opposites, like a mic and an amplifier, go yabba, wah, 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 and we explode into I know. We explode into I know where I am. I know what to do. There's no doubt. I know where I am. I know who I am. I know what to do, and I just do it. Like Jake Sully. He knew what to do, and he just did it. Thanks for dropping in.